Hey, hockey fans, and welcome back to another edition of Puck My Life. Tonight, I am joined with Cody. How we doing?
Good. Excited to be here. Happy to talk some hockey.
Awesome. Well, tonight we are going to go over Game 2 of our two-game hockey road trip that took place in October of 2017. So this was a little bit ago. And tonight we're going to go over the Toronto Maple Leafs game that we went to, where they played the Red Wings. And the night before, we got to see the Ottawa Senators take on the Vancouver Canucks. And if you missed that game experience, don't worry. It's still on our channel. You can go check that out. We recorded that one on Monday. So check it out and let us know what you think of that one. But for tonight, we're going to go over the Toronto Maple Leafs. So the Toronto Maple Leafs play at Scotiabank Arena, located in downtown Toronto, which actually Toronto is really not that far for us. 4 hours and 20 minutes, 268 miles away. So between us and Toronto, there's a lot of hockey to see, from obviously the Maple Leafs, a lot of the OHL and everything. So there's a lot of stuff to see. We have a lot of ground that we have to cover here in the upcoming seasons. So we definitely have our work cut out for us, and we're definitely looking forward to that. All right, so here it is, Scotiabank Arena, located in a downtown setting. You know, we've talked about this before. I personally don't really care too much for some of the downtown setting arenas. A lot of it's just because it's a lot of frustration, especially with finding parking and getting in and out, especially if you haven't been there before. Now, Cody and I, we have been to plenty of games in Detroit, but we have that down to a science now, to where it's like we can get in, we can get out, we know where all the good restaurants are, and we know the best time to get there and everything. So we got that down. But when it comes to going to a downtown setting for a new game experience, I'm sometimes a little leery about it, just because of all the factors that I just mentioned. I mean, what do you think, Cody? I mean, I know
I
you really
love
like them.
I love them. I love the atmosphere. Just the vibe when you're down there before the game. It's completely different than in the suburbs. I love the downtown arenas.
Yeah, I do too, as long as you have like a good plan going into it. And Cody and I, we've been doing this for a while, so we kind of make sure that we get down there with plenty of time. Sometimes Cody and I will get to a game like 3-4 hours before they open the doors. A lot of times because we just want to explore some of these places we've never been to before. We want to walk around, check things out. And it's a really good way to do that. And so I would highly recommend, if you are going to see a team that is in a downtown setting, try to get there early so you can do some exploring and make sure that you find some good parking. Because a lot of times, some of these lots, Cody and I have seen, when you get there early, there's like certain prices. Then once it gets within so much time of the game starting, they change it to event parking. And the parking sometimes doubles or even triples. And a lot of times, the closer you get to the arena, which just makes sense, the higher parking you're going to pay. So make sure to get down there a little bit early. Maybe go check out some Google Maps, talk to some people, try to see what you can figure out. All right. So here's the inside of the arena. Lots of history with this franchise, as you can see by the many banners hanging from the rafters. And this was an original 6 matchup. And this was the first time, I believe, that we had both seen the Red Wings on the road, correct?
That's right. It was my first time seeing them on the road.
Yep, and it was for me, I don't know about for you, but it was, at this point in time, this was the second time that I've seen them play another original 6 competitor. The first team I seen them play from the original 6 was the Blackhawks. Now, had you seen them play any other original 6 ones prior to this? I know recently we went and saw them play the Rangers, but like up until this game, had you seen them play anybody else?
Yep, because I'd seen them play Chicago, and then I believe in 2014 I went to a couple of Wings versus Bruins games. So
okay,
first road original 6 game though.
Yeah, so a lot of, like, before this road trip, I hadn't really gone to like a lot of hockey. Cody, had been to quite a few hockey games, and he's kind of the one that got me into this and everything. So I'm, for me, this was like fairly new for me. I think I'd only seen just a handful of games before this one, but this was also our second game that we've seen outside of the U.S. So it was actually quite interesting to go to this, because with the Red Wings and the Maple Leafs, the original six, they've been around forever, but with them being so close and the fan bases and stuff right there, these games tend to sell out or very close to, and there's really strong rivalry tension between these teams. And we'll talk about that a little bit later when we get into the atmosphere portion of this video. So yeah, so definitely something that I was happy to go and see. All right, so first thing we like to talk about when we get into these game experiences is the parking. So I wasn't really able to find a good map for this. A lot of the other experiences, have you seen, a lot of times they'll have like a map specifically just showing you right around the arena. Unfortunately, I was not able to find anything like that. But if you can follow the map, Scotiabank Arena is right there just north of the highway. We parked just south of this big park that was just south of CN Tower on the other side of the expressway. And it was like, I think we were looking at about like a 6-7 block walk, but it was only about $20 to park there. I had actually parked there before when I went to Rogers Center and watched the Toronto Blue Jays game. So I was already familiar with that a little bit before we got down there. And that's also a really good parking lot. If I would use it again for either the Maple Leafs or the Blue Jays for sure. But in a downtown setting, especially if you're not used to being in a downtown, I know a lot of times people get like frustrated. A lot of people that I know personally don't really like driving downtown because it gets complicated. Some cities, they have a bunch of one ways and you get all turned around and you can't find parking. It just gets very frustrating. So if you do have a chance to, like we've said before, make sure you give yourself enough time when you go down to a game that's in a downtown, especially this one, that you have enough time to find good parking and do a little exploring while you're down there. Because, I mean, there's definitely a lot of stuff to do in downtown Toronto. All right, tickets. So anytime that you have a team that goes against the original six team, or you have two original six teams going at it, typically you're going to see a premium in the prices of those tickets. And there was no exception for this game. $89 for one ticket. Now, this was, I know for myself, and I'm pretty sure for Cody, correct me if I'm wrong, this was the most money that you've ever spent to sit in the upper bowl.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's $89 before fees. So, I mean, twice as much as what we'd spent the night before. So,
yeah, we were, I think it was like $79 for both tickets for the Ottawa game. And this one we're paying $89 before fees for the Toronto Red Wings game, which we kind of knew this was going to happen ahead of time. But I personally did not think it was going to be this much for Upper Bowl. But, you know, you go to a matchup like this, two iconic teams, you're going to pay a premium. So if you are looking at doing something like that, especially in Toronto, seeing any one of the original six teams, you're going to be paying more. I would think of all the original six teams, I would think that this matchup is probably the most expensive.
Probably on an average yearly basis, I would bet, yeah.
Yeah, and the reason why I say that is just because the fan bases are so close. Because, like, you've seen it, like, when we've seen other teams play from just over the border in Michigan, that you do get a lot of Canadians that will come over and cheer them on, and vice versa. There was a decent amount of Red Wings fans over there. Not as much as I was hoping for, but there was still a decent amount. All right, merch. So one thing that Cody and I kind of regret from this game experience is we really didn't get to walk around the concourse as much. I'm not really sure why. Like, I was thinking about that the other day because Cody and I were kind of like discussing things. And do you have like an answer for that? Like, why was it we weren't like exploring like we normally do? Like it felt like we just stayed up in the upper level
Yeah,
and like that was it.
I just remember that arena, getting in there to our seats before the game. It was congested and packed, and I don't know if we just didn't want to go fight the hordes to go check stuff out or what. But yeah, I really don't remember walking around too much.
Yeah, and I think part of it too is that we were really excited about this matchup, and we wanted to like soak everything in because it was an iconic matchup. So as far as merch goes, we didn't buy any jerseys, we didn't buy any T-shirts, but we did buy some pucks. Now I think we got different. Yes, we did get
Yep.
different pucks. So I don't remember them having like an official game puck like in a case or anything. They might
I
now,
didn't see that.
but
Yeah.
I didn't see that. So mine is just a regular novelty puck. It's got the Toronto skyline in there. Nothing too crazy. I think it was like $8 to $10. So we didn't even like really go through much of the main team store. We just kind of, with how many people it was and how like small the concourse like was for the upper bowl, like we didn't really do much wandering around. We just got these from like the nearest kiosk, and like that was pretty much it. But they had a decent puck selection. I remember having to look through a few until I settled on this one. But we didn't, at this point we weren't really getting too big into the puck collecting, so we didn't really go after the more expensive pucks like we do now. But we were definitely happy just to get our $8 novelty puck from this experience. All right, concessions. So there was a lot of like cool stuff there, but I didn't really see anything that was super crazy. I noticed there was a lot of little bars. Like there was a lot of people drinking at this arena. And I also noticed too that it was a lot of that was like the same stuff like the first night, you know, your Tim Hortons, your pizza. Obviously you're in Canada, so you're going to see a lot of that crossover, and especially since those teams aren't very far apart. And they also still did have the Smokies poutine, which, you know, I've been seeing this a lot when I go over to Canada. So I have been to a few little poutine places in Toronto, but I haven't tried these guys. So we talked about this in the other video. So if we ever do go back to Toronto or Ottawa, we're definitely going to try these guys out. Get the big basket of poutine, because it really did smell good. And I can't remember what all we ordered from there. I mean, it's been a couple years, but I thought their prices were a little more expensive just because, you know, you're in downtown Toronto and everything. So if you are going to a game down there, maybe throw a few more dollars at your food budget when you go there, just as a precaution.
Tell us the best poutine in the area too, if you know it.
Yes.
I'd like to know.
Comment that down below, which place is the best poutine, and if we can make it back over to Toronto, we'll go and review that place, and we'll post it on here if we get a chance to. We'll start reviewing poutine.
Poutine my life.
Poutine my life. Yep. All right. So next up is the atmosphere. Now, going into this game, knowing that it's Original Six, knowing that it's the Red Wings and the Maple Leafs, I was expecting it to be a rocking house, and it was for the most part. This was just before warm-ups took place, and there was a lot of people waiting to get into this. It did fill up. It did fill up over time. I thought I had a few more slides there. I guess not. But anyway, it was an exciting game from start to finish. Unfortunately, the Red Wings did not come on top. This was still part of the whole rebuilding
just
process.
Yeah.
This was just the start of our rebuilding process. I think we're going to be doing a lot better this next coming year. I'm really looking forward to it. But yeah, this is the start of their whole rebuilding process, and we didn't do so hot, but we still had fun. One thing I will say about this though, the fans were really nice to us. We were up in the upper bowl, and also the seats. I have to say that these seats, you go from the night before we're in Ottawa to the worst seats that we had sitting in upper bowl with that sharp angle and everything. We come here, and it's probably the best seats that we had. We had plenty of leg room. We had a nice bar in front of us that we could lean forward on and put our arms on and watch the whole game. Like it was a good experience. We had some people that I remember, some people next to us that were talking to us, chatting it up during the game, and just
Hmm.
a lot of nice people that just love hockey. And there was a lot of people there, and it really just really adds an extra element when there's like that many more people there. Like, because when something happens, the roar of the crowd, sometimes it just makes your hair stand on end.
Oh yeah, and those guys right next to us, we were. I remember just jawing back and forth with them in a friendly manner. I was wearing a Thomas Tatar jersey. He kept calling me fish sauce, and I'm just the nicest guys. It was such a good time. It made the game so much better to have friendly opposing fans.
Exactly, and we'd be delighted to come back. So, with that being said, you might have already seen it when I actually jumped ahead a little bit. But the puck score that I gave the Toronto Maple Leafs was 39. I gave them 7 out of 10 for parking, mainly because just it's kind of chaotic down there for parking, and parking is expensive. For this one, tickets, I mainly docked them just because their tickets are expensive. They're not really like, you're not going there and expecting a bargain to go see these guys. You're going to pay up for it. Merch, 9 out of 10. Concession, 7 out of 10. I really didn't see anything too crazy. And then I gave them an 8 out of 10 for atmosphere, which rounding them off a 39. So what do you think about this, Cody? I was really trying to, I don't know. It's just like this one was really hard to measure out.
Yeah, parking I might go a little bit lower just because it was. I mean, it's busy down there. Finding parking, I'm at, like, just from my experiences driving in downtown Toronto, I could see how it could get very frustrating trying to find parking. But atmosphere, I don't know. I might give it a 10 out of 10. I thought it was great. I mean, the fans next to us were having a good time, and it was loud in there. It was packed. The light show they did was great. So I mean, pretty close. I think I agree with almost all of it. Yeah, it was great time.
Yeah, and so as far as like bonus points for the Wow/X Factor, I gave him a 1 out of 3 just because like I didn't really think that there was anything like crazy that happened at the game. It seemed like just a pretty good, well ran event, and we had a good time. It wasn't like nothing over the top, but so their final score becomes a 40 after that. So which I think when you look at it from a final score perspective, I definitely think that I think that's a fair score, like overall. I mean, what do you think after seeing them? Now they're ending up with a 40.
I agree. Yeah, I think they do. Especially once you're in the arena, they do everything well. There's nothing that, like you said, I don't think there's anything one thing that like it really stands out, and it's like, oh, like that you don't see other places. But it's very well oiled. Everything they do was excellent.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, and so I think that this is a fairly accurate score to give the Toronto Maple Leafs a puck score of 40. So if you haven't already, please go over, check out the Instagram at PuckMyLife. There's more content on there for you for the NHL and other leagues that we've been to. More stuff coming soon. If you also see on there, we are doing a giveaway. The giveaway is still currently going on. It ends at the end of this month. And for that giveaway, I'm going to show that item again. So what you're entering to win is you're getting a puck and a schedule for the worst team in hockey, the Battle Creek Rumblebees, and you do get a case to go with it. So we're sending you this full setup, and all you have to do to enter is go and follow the prompts and the rules here, either on the Puck My Life Instagram page, find the pin post for who's that hockey team, follow the instructions below, and then if you want to get a second entry, go to our main page here on YouTube, find the same thumbnail for who's that hockey team, click on that and follow the rules below to get your second entry. The entries will be gathered and verified, and we will try to do that giveaway announcement on September 5th. There is a possibility that Mark will be able to join us for that. Not 100% sure, so cross your fingers for that. He's going to try to be on for that one. So September 5th, after we verified everything, we will drop that and announce who won. All right, well, that wraps it up for the Toronto Maple Leafs game experience. Is there anything else, Cody, that you want to say about the Maple Leafs or anything? I mean, I thought it was a great experience overall, and I can't wait to go back.
Absolutely. Maybe someday we'll get to go to a second round playoff game there, but that's out of our hands.
Wow, yeah, wow, second round. Okay, yeah, we'll see if that happens. I mean, I feel bad for the Maple Leafs and some of the stuff that's happened to them over the years, but you guys will break through at some point, and hopefully that's sooner rather than later. You guys got a lot of good talent over there. They're exciting to watch. I know the last time I think they came to Detroit, I think they whooped on us pretty good.
I'd believe it.
Yeah. So there's a good franchise. You got a few things that they got to work out, but they're not far off from being a strong contender for the Stanley Cup. So we appreciate all you Toronto Maple Leafs fans and making our experience great over there. Just to let you guys know, we just, what we do here, we do for the love of hockey. We just have a strong love of hockey. We don't really do much about statistics and all that other kind of stuff on here. We're just trying to get this information out there and help you decide whether or not you're going to go and see some of these teams. And I know that there's been actually a few people that have actually messaged me since we started doing this, and they've talked about wanting to go and travel around and do some of the things that we're doing. So that's really cool that we're inspiring some people to go out and see a bunch of different arenas. There's tons of arenas out there. Cody and I are finding, it seems like we're finding more and more teams to go see. And we, some of the times when we're looking at this, we're just finding more teams that we want to go see within our own state, let alone our part of the country or even into Canada or even the parts of the world. There's just so much hockey out there. Go out there and experience as much of it as you can. Anything else, Cody, before we wrap it up and let people go for this evening?
I don't think so. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for watching.
All right. Well, we appreciate each and every one of you, and we'll see you guys in the next one where we discuss our game experience seeing the Tucson Roadrunners. It's going to be interesting. We'll catch you in the next one. See you guys.